First up today, we have Radiopharm Theranostics, ASX code RAD, and they have a market cap of around 30 million. Radiopharm Theranostics are focused on the development of radiopharmaceutical products for diagnostic and therapeutic uses in areas of high unmet medical needs. We welcome back Radiopharm MD and CEO, Riccardo Canevari. Welcome back, Riccardo.
Well, thanks a lot, Paul, for having me. Really glad to be here. So if we can go to the next slide, of course, our disclaimer, and then we can jump to the next. So we are in a very exciting sector in oncology. That's where companies focus on radiopharmaceutical are today. It was just last week when Lilly, a big pharma, announced an acquisition of 1.4 billion of Point Biopharma. The week before, Roche declared that they decided to enter into the space, and the same as Bayer and Novartis. So now we have, for the first time, big player in this sector. And the reason is this segment is considered to be probably one of the highest potential in terms of future growth in oncology, in particular in the solid tumor area. And also in terms of financial deals, in a moment where, you know, the window for IPO in the US is pretty much shut down, we had a very successful IPO from RayzeBio, another radiopharmaceutical company, just at the beginning of this month, with almost $300 million as raised at the IPO. And in this, among these opportunities, we see there are only 14 companies that are currently public. And so we see this as a great place to be and a market with very strong potential ahead of us. But if we go to the next slide, here is more what we as Radiopharm Theranostics are proposing and what we think can be our value proposition. So first of all, our mission. We want to successfully fight cancer. This is our objective, and the way we want to do is by leveraging the innovation of radiopharmaceutical therapy. We do have a unique business model. The way we work is really by having a small team and do important partnership outside. With this reason, our internal cost, our SG&A, is extremely low. And all the investment that we receive from the shareholder are really going into preclinical and clinical development. In this sector, it's very important to secure isotopes because, you know, radiopharmaceutical therapies need to have a targeted molecule, a linker that is like a chain, and an isotope at the end. And the isotope is so powerful to be able to destroy the tumor DNA in the cancer cell. And we were able to secure those isotopes with very important contracts since the beginning of our journey. And now we have everything we need to bring our products to advanced clinical development. I mentioned that we are a small team, but everybody is coming with very strong experience, both in imaging or therapeutic radiopharmaceutical. And one thing that I believe we do well is our ability to partner with a very high-end institution. And I just like to mention one that is MD Anderson Cancer Center, probably the #1 institution in the world in this area. And we do have a joint venture with them. But at the end of the day, for a company, for a biotech company, what really matters is what you offer. What is your pipeline? What are your molecules? And we are convinced that our molecules are really unique and differentiated from the rest of the offering. And in the next slide, we can see better the history of the company. I mean, we are less than 2-year-old company. 2 years ago, we were not even public. And we were able in mid-2021 to start the company with an injection of 20 million Australian dollar. We used this money to start building the team, and even more important, to in-license the first set of molecule We were able to go to IPO in November 2021 and raise an important amount of cash, 50 million Australian dollar. And we used 2022 really to set up the company to be sure that we have the right team player, we have the right pipeline, securing additional molecule to our pipeline. And we concluded the year with an additional capital raise in October of 10 million. So this has been the first year, but what is now becoming evident is that our 2023 has been really dedicated to complete all the preclinical work that was needed. And now we are really in a situation where we are transitioning the company from a preclinical stage to a clinical stage company. And not with one, but with 4 assets. So a lot of work that maybe was not so visible in the previous quarter is now really getting to results that are important. Last week, we announced, in fact, that the ethics committee of Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane give us approval to start our phase 1 therapeutic trial in patients suffering with non-small cell lung cancer. And we do expect in the next 3 months of this remaining quarter of the calendar year to have additional 3 important announcements with 3 different molecules, really transitioning the company from preclinical to clinical stage. In the next slide, we can see the more traditional way where you usually express the pipeline. We have 2 imaging and 2 therapeutic agents. These are our 4 priorities. The 2 imaging, our most advanced asset is called Pivalate, is an imaging agent for brain metastasis. We have successfully delivered phase 2A results last year. And now, because the trial was performed in UK, we are now completing the tech transfer to bring the technology to US and to start a multi-center trial, a phase 2B multi-center trial that is now happening in the next few weeks. So we are really excited to start with a phase 2B trial that for us is a late stage development for this molecule. Not only Pivalate, but also Trivaxin is an imaging agent for pancreatic cancer. We did receive already IND approval from FDA. We have received orphan drug designation for pancreatic cancer, and we are very close to start our phase 1 trial in US and precisely in New York City. This trial is just days away to start, and this will be our second product to transition to clinical stage. Not only imaging, I mentioned that we do have the ambition to be a therapeutic company, and that's our 2 therapeutic molecules are 2 single domain monoclonal antibody. The first one is the one that I mentioned that received ethics committee approval to start in patients with non-small cell lung cancer. So we are targeting the first patient in the month of November. And finally, our 4 priorities is a single domain monoclonal antibody for patients suffering from breast and gastric cancer. And we will start this trial in USA under IND approval that we are going to submit in November. So if we go to the conclusion of the final slide, we do expect significant inflection point in Q4, as well as our ability to bring 2 readouts during mid-2024. So the team is excited. We are really proud of what we achieve in this difficult environment. Sometimes we did something late, sometimes we did something early, but overall the trajectory of the company is very reassuring. And I just want to thank you for the opportunity to present. Thank you, Paul, for having me.
Thank you, Riccardo. Plenty of questions here, Riccardo. You touched on this already. You know, the company has a busy pipeline of trials coming through. Which trial do you see as the most important to the company at this point in time?
Yes, you are absolutely right. In our business model, we license different molecules, but we are conscious of the effort of the team that can be only in specific trial, as well as the resources need to be focused. For this reason, we have decided that these 4 priorities are the most important. They are kind of coming a little bit all at the same time in terms of enrolling patient. But as we do trial in US and Australia, we think we can bring all 4 of these to the next stage.
And how important are the recent JVs with like leading cancer research players such as the University of Texas?
Look, this is an incredible opportunity that we had to work with the top scientists in that institution. They are really keen to develop the molecule that they have in MD Anderson as radiopharmaceutical therapies as part of our agreement that if these molecules are safe and show early efficacy, they will transition into our pipeline. So we are really excited and we cannot wait to see the results. It's a little bit early. It takes more time to see this, but we are very happy to have this joint venture with them.
That's great. And the supply of isotopes is critical to the company's plans. How confident are you that you have the supply available for your needs?
Look, we thought about this immediately after the company was created because we know this could have been a pain point for the company. So we immediately secure multiple contracts. We do have 2 contracts with lutetium, 2 global contracts for actinium, a global contract for terbium. So we have secured the quantity that are needed from phase 1 to commercialization. The day that we will arrive to commercialization, well, we have a nice problem to solve, but for now we have everything we need.
And a question here, Riccardo. There was talk early in the year of a NASDAQ listing. Now, appreciate the markets have not been great, but we do know that a lot of biotechs do have dual listings in the US because of the traction of US investors into the sector. Any updates on a NASDAQ listing in the near medium term?
Sure, good question. So we announced it, that is true. And also we did more than announcing because we have completed the first step that is called 20F. Under the 20F, the SEC and the audit company are certifying that you have everything in order to enter the NASDAQ. Now, you need a second step that is called F1, that is allowing you to be listed on the NASDAQ and also raise money if you want. For this process, we have decided to slow down and not to go with maximum speed. And the reason that we want to be sure that first, our portfolio is ready for the NASDAQ. And these 4 products get into clinical stage is an important element to transition the company from preclinical to clinical. And second, as we all know, is the macroeconomic conditions that are not easy. But we have not changed our strategic decision. We are going to be listed on the NASDAQ. It's just that probably we are targeting the first half of 2024. We are happy to be on the ASX. We are happy to be engaging with Australian shareholder. We see this as an additional opportunity, but we don't have to do it tomorrow. We can do exactly when we feel that the time is right.
Fantastic. And just to finish up, can you give investors a taste of what material news flow they should be expecting over the coming months?
Yeah, we are going to have, we expect to have important announcement about those trials. It's much better for a company like ours when you can disclose advancement of the clinical trial, 50% recruitment rate, trial completion, readout, versus now or in the past 6 months that, is all about preclinical or regulatory. So for sure, we are going to keep the investor absolutely informed on a timely matter. And as I have in this last slide, I believe that from October to January, February, March, we will have a lot of news coming. I have to be honest, some of these we would have expected probably a month ago or 6 weeks ago, but sometimes you have just, some obstacle that you need to solve. Clinical development is not linear, but what I like to say, no major problem, no safety problem, efficacy problem, nothing. So the company is progressing very well. Sometimes we are too aggressive with ourselves and we need to manage better the expectation. But I'm very happy with what we have achieved and what we are going to share with the market soon.
That's great to hear. Riccardo, always a pleasure to have you on. I appreciate you coming from the States, saying it's a late hour there. There is a couple more questions. You do have the time to answer those offline. That'd be much appreciated. But you have a good evening. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Paul, and thanks for everybody for listening.